Welcome, everybody, to Generation Dan, the only podcast where our intro is tiny now for some reason. I'm Atlas. I'm your millennial. Who else is here with me?
I'm Dino, the genetic marvel, and I am confused by technology constantly because, like, hey, I did the exact same thing before. Oh yeah, didn't work. Why didn't it work? I am confused. But hey, such is life. So, we are talking about navigating Gen Z. We have both had some very interesting experience recently, and we're going to discuss them. I think it'll be fun.
Yeah. So, originally the idea for this episode came from like what it's like to be parenting Gen Alpha.
Yeah.
From our friend called Clayton, who is not available today. So, shit happens, but.
It does happen. That is true.
There, we have other things we can talk about. My students are starting to get into the first peak of in the gradient of generations where I'm starting to get a little bit of Gen Alpha in my students. Like the amount of times I've heard the phrase 6-7 said in the 3 weeks we've been in, or 5 weeks now we've been in school. California schools, we start in August. It's terrible. Is alarming. And I thought I had a couple more years of Gen Z, but it's the kind of thing where it's the meme with what's his face at the end of Saving Private Ryan, where he ages 40 years in 2 seconds. I can see my understanding of the youth evaporating in my hands like it's fucking dust in the wind.
See, and this is my. A lot of people will send me stuff and I'm like, oh, after watching that, my bones immediately turned to dust. Thank you. And they're just like, oh yeah, that's fine. What's up, Rip Ghost? But yeah, so I've been working the last few days to help out a friend
working with the children's and he's not eating them. That's such a new concept.
I mean, I have been tempted, I'll be honest with you, but they've been feeding me pretty good. So what is this, sir? This is a discussion on dealing with Gen Z. That's the children's. Okay. Billy edits. This is the thing, is that there's mostly people that are my age or a little bit younger. I have no issue with that. It's very simple. Because I'm funny and terrifying. Both things. They're like, oh, that's scary. So alternatively, though, there have been young people who just say words and I'm like, I don't know what you mean. And I just go, oh, okay. And they turn
okay. So we just did an episode about this 2 weeks ago about slang of different generations. And it's not unique to any generation to be like, we don't understand the newfangled. All of them are going to have fucking newfangled slang forever because that's how people work. You say a thing to shorthand saying other things.
Yeah.
And I think social media turns that up to 11 with the speed where memes and stuff kind of fly further faster.
Yeah.
But it's never it's just gonna kind of be how it is. What I wanted to talk about really was just I've made jokes in the past about how I'm terrified of eventually having Gen Alpha students, and now they're here. It's not as bad as I thought.
And you'll rue the day. That's
our original guest has a kid who is Gen Alpha, so I thought that would have fit.
Yeah. So this is the thing. How are you, Kush? We're doing okay. That's fine. Thank you. We think it's cool too. It's a fun discussion. So if you guys have thoughts or opinions, please, throw them in the comment section. We will discuss. But yeah, so I know you are right. I mean, hey, took my number one.
You're following all of them. Okay, fun.
Yeah, why not? But yeah, so this is the thing, is that this is I'm not sure, Atlas, if you're at this point in your life, but do you remember being young and dumb? I remember being young and dumb. Okay.
Yes. Do you remember the time you stopped being young and dumb? Like, was there a sort of this is really gross and disgusting, the first time you learn how to masturbate and like you kind of come online, you know?
No, that's
Okay.
not at all.
You
That
you
sounds like
quit
I
being
didn't read until I was like 36. No, that's not.
no. Okay, it's like a metaphor. What I'm saying is that like is there a time in your life where you start going, "Oh, I was young and dumb at this age, now I'm at this age and thus I am less young and dumb than I was."
Well, so I believe that I'm like to some degree I've always been a little bit of an idiot in that fashion. But the there's been so many times where an older person has asked me something and I kind of look at them and I'm like, how do you not know that? That's and like so I've never necessarily felt like I'm an idiot. I've seen other people play the idiot and I'm like, oh, that seems a lot easier. So I would say probably only the last 7 or 8 years, so probably around mid-30s, did I start going, I don't know. Until someone really pressed me for an answer, I just go, like someone goes, hey, I think this is this about you. I go, all right. You know, and also like it was kind of with comedy where I stopped acknowledging praise and criticism in the same way, where people are like, that was an awesome set. Okay, thanks. And they're like, oh man, you bombed. Okay, thanks. Doesn't matter. I'm not, I don't, I'm doing my own thing. It doesn't matter to me. Right. So like, I feel like that was a real turning point in feeling, of no longer feeling, I guess you could say, incompetent. But it was like that was, and also too, at around that age, I just never felt, I stopped feeling young. I stopped feeling young probably around 16, 17. I was just like, I'm old, but in a young body for now.
I think that like you still have young people doing that where they're like, oh my God, I'm sold. I'm like, you're 19, shut up. And the first time I truly felt old was not because I always had like, it wasn't a like, oh, modern music sucked. I just listened to old rock music because I wanted to be cool.
Yes.
Yeah, and as I've gotten older, my change has like gotten more eclectic, or my taste has gotten more eclectic. But
sure.
I think the first time I truly felt like, oh shit, I can't do that anymore, is my first hangover of my 30s. Like, we talked about this too, where like I had a big blowout on my 30th birthday, went to bed and woke up. I'm like, this is not a take 2 Tylenol and go on with your day type of hangover. This is I'm staying in bed for the entirety of the day type of hangover.
That's fair.
That was the first time where I truly felt like, oh shit, I think it's not saying like, yup, I'm old. It's the first time you realize I can't do blank anymore because of insert physical thing here.
Well, this is the thing though, is that for me, I've become more physically capable
as you've gotten older.
Well, now. Well, yeah, because I started to do stuff that was more beneficial to my existence. And lost weight, getting in shape, all the things that you're supposed to do at a young age. I saved it until much later. Yeah.
Dino the genetic marvel, the only man who has experienced the life of Benjamin Button, but not in a weird way.
I mean, kind of. My knees don't crack every time I bend them now. That's pretty awesome. I'll be honest.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah. Ankles still do. They crack on demand. It's pretty. And I do it in front of Victoria, and she's like, "That's gross." But I'm like, so I don't crack my neck, ever. It just doesn't. My neck just doesn't crack. Like, if it does, I'm like,
because it's sturdy like a redwood.
Yeah. Well, I have like a 20-inch neck, right? So I'm like, it's not here. So you guys can see, I'm like, it's not. Hold on. Like, it's a thick neck. That's all I can describe it as. Yeah, my neck crack. Yeah. Victoria's neck cracks, and I'm like, "Are you okay?" It sounded like you might have just detached your head from your spine.
I I can like neck crack the way like you ever play Twilight Princess, the Zelda game?
No.
Okay, so they do like a fake out villain for that. Like the first half of the game, it's this guy, and then Ganondorf comes in, and at
Okay.
the end of the game, you like shove the Master Sword chest deep into Ganondorf, and he's like, "I'm still alive," and then the fake out villain goes with his neck, and then Ganondorf dies. So every time I do that, I just think of Xant going.
And
I knew I
Alberto
was
says,
getting old a year ago when I started double guessing my athletic decisions. I can't work out like I did in my teens, 20s, 30s. Totally.
yes.
Yes.
This is so okay. And I'll be honest with you, my YouTube feed is filled with like how to work out as you get older, and like these are the only exercises you really need to do. And it's like, oh no, I need to do more. And it's hilarious because people are like, these are stretches for if you're over 40. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's me. Sometimes I do the ones if you're in 50s because you know, I used to be over 500 pounds. And I'll tell you, that shit ages you real quick. But what's your continent? That's not a word. Hussein, come on, man.
I think he wants to say content, but
Or continent. I don't know. That's
read the
why it's
title.
confusing. Words matter,
Yeah.
damn it.
So
Yeah.
typically, because generations tend to last between 12 to 20 years, again, refer back to our gradient theory that like the hard year thing doesn't really do it for me.
True.
Typically what happens is you have kids 2 generations off from the one you're born in.
Yeah.
Not always the case. Like,
Yep.
for example, if you have kids really young, it's like, 1.5 or,
Yeah.
So for somebody like Cole, where his parents had him young, they were like Gen Xers, and he's technically a millennial.
Yeah.
And then for my parents, who were like core boomers,
Yeah.
had me so late that I ended up being like brushing up against the side of Gen Z.
Yeah.
So it's almost 3.
Yeah. And it's the same. So like, and for me, where it's my dad was definitely a boomer, but had me because I'm the 5th kid.
Yeah.
My parents were already in their almost in their 40s. No, like late 30s when they had me.
Yeah.
So like I was and my dad is the youngest of like 9 kids as well. So we're both like kind of generationally displaced, like because because Cole has a lot of younger siblings. So he kind of identifies with them, whereas I have a lot of older siblings, and it kind of just drags you whichever way the wind blows, right?
Right.
Mini Jim. No, you're not.
Yeah.
You're a sufferer. It's all right.
I think for teachers, because I'm coming at this like a teacher.
Yeah.
The kids that I have taught throughout my career so far have been like tail end of Gen Z and early Gen Alpha. And talking to some of the older head teachers, because at my school there's a lot of like teachers who've been here. Like I've been here since like 2003. You're like, all right, cool, let's talk. Because I love to see where like the core of their career was when I was in school.
Yeah.
And now I'm here kind of seeing what it was like, and I'm like, okay, so what the whole like, oh, the kids can't read or do math anymore, and they're like, that's kind of true, but it's not like they've been getting dumber. It's more the culture around school has changed in the past 20 years. Like the pandemic made it all worse, but even before that, parents weren't like putting the same weight on school that the boomers were.
True.
I think because right, it all kind of like feeds into each other, where the people who were pressured on in school are tending to give their kids less pressure because they're like, that was too much from my parents.
See, and
for better and for worse.
Sure. And like you said, is the pandemic didn't help, obviously, but I think, and I don't even think it was because of the pandemic. I think the pandemic just sped everything up.
Yeah, it was a catalyst. It wasn't a cause.
Yeah. So you jumped like 15 years into the future, and suddenly people are like, yeah, I don't give a shit about it. You're a handsome
You're
man.
A handsome man. Thanks.
That works. Yeah. I appreciate that. But yeah, so it's that weird angle where well, I remember when I was young, my dad was like, you got to go to college. He actually wanted me to go to university. I'm like, no, I don't care that much about school. I'm not going there. I'll go to college. I went to college. And in turn, like, now I look back and I'm like, I kind of wish I went to trade schools, because now if you want to go to a trade school, they're like, it's $10,000 a semester. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure for a trade, like an apprenticeship, you should be paying me. So I don't know what you're talking about. Like, it's a very odd thing.
There's like, well, because now the people who are, experienced in those jobs are starting to retire with no one to fill the void.
Person.
Like, you can't be doing that. Like,
and I would have been in such a sweet spot to have filled the gap, been at my prime, and now I'm only 40 and just dominated, right? So it's like, damn it. And the funny thing is, my dad was a machinist. He went to trade school. So I'm like, come on, man. Like,
I mean, technically, Katie went to trade school. She went to culinary school. That is a trade.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I didn't go to, I didn't major in education. This was very much a, like, at the end of my 20s was a career change towards teaching. God, I'm such a mush mouth today. And I'm doing like the district intern program, which is we have so few teachers, we have to like fill it in somehow. Like, anybody, please just get in on this. And as long as you have a bachelor's, which is, that turned out to work then, the go to college, it will work out in the end ethos.
That was fortuitous as opposed to a plan, right? And that's the big thing, is that I think one of the bigger differences in dealing with Gen Z is the fact that they're jumping into things going, no plan is going to work. Time travels too fast. By the and similarly, like the whole idea about like, a doctor goes to medical school, by the time he's out, everything he learned may be obsolete to some degree. Certain things not, but a significant amount of things are like, stuff is like, a perfect example right now. You'll see it all over. I see it on my Facebook where it's like, Germans have invented an injection that will be a catalyst for cartilage to grow in your joints again. So no surgery. You don't have to get your knees replaced. None of that shit. And I'm like, oh shit, I want me some of that. So I might just do it for the fun of it, But like you're and also too, you see, like other people are saying how you can get surgery now where they'll make you taller, and you're like, that's some crazy shit. But and the amount of people I know that have gone and gotten I guess hair transplants or whatever it is, they'll go to Turkey and it's like, you're there for 2 weeks and da da da. I have a comedian in Toronto where he's documented the whole thing, and is like, this is me after 6 months and everything, and I'm like, oh, that's awesome. I never thought he had a bald spot in a certain part on the back of his head, and I was like, I just assumed it was a scar or whatever, but he was slowly receding, and I was like, who cares? Okay, let's all become blacksmiths and do part-time AS. I mean, that would kill.
That actually sounds pretty fun. So a big part of the cyberpunk genre is like human enhancement. So we're like not quite there yet, but a lot of things are starting to like show shades of it.
Well, did I tell you there's a I guess a beauty store, whatever, establishment, and at a mall that's close to me. It's called, I don't know. It's called body lasers. Okay. And I always be like, hey, can you guys make my eyes into lasers? They're like, that's not what we do here. I'm like, it's just body lasers. I don't want a body laser. I want an eye laser. Was that? And they're just like, you're a fucking idiot. And I'm like,
are you kidding me?
I think it's funny.
It'd be pretty funny if like my dad, when he was still practicing as an eye doctor, like that was a thing, cybernetic enhancement.
Absolutely. I want to be able to enhance.
So for Gen Z, where they saw what happened to the millennials, where we were told, go to college, everything will be fine. We come out in the middle of the recession. And for them, they're told, like, do something, like go to college or community college or trade schools, do something. Don't do nothing. And I think that's good, but like it turned into this weird thing where everyone was like, only go to college if it's for STEM. Humanities is bullshit. And then the AI thing a couple of years ago is like laying off all these coding people to learn to code assholes. And now that's making them look stupid. So what's the lesson from all this? If you're going to go to college, study what you're interested in. Then use it to improve your life somehow. I don't want to be teaching English forever, but I still studied the subject I was interested in, which made A, college less shitty, and B, it was helping what I wanted to do at the time, which was stand-up. Creative writing helped the stand-up part.
Definitely. That makes sense. See, but that's the thing, is that people are studying things they're interested in that are unemployable skills. And that's the real issue.
But in reality, we have no control over like what's going to be employable. Like if you major in, you can't major in philosophy and then become a philosopher. Duh. But something that is kind of tangentially related to that subject is that, like, majoring in communications is super helpful. Everybody needs HR people.
But that's the thing is, but no, nobody needs HR people. They're the worst.
Okay, let me rephrase.
People need to be able to.
They're hiring for HR.
So this is one of those things where, like, being a philosophy major gives you nothing. Majoring in communications, well, you can become a master communicator, which will lead to being philosophy. Like, this is the funny thing,
or like an ombudsman or something.
Sure, but like I laugh when people are like, "Oh, I took philosophy," and I'm like, "You can't take philosophy. You philosophize. It's not a thing. There's no. You can't teach someone how to think. You have to learn how to think. Like, it's a weird, like,
he's great. This is true. He's great.
This is from the core of the world, okay? From the dawn of time. But it's that idea where you can't like, and this is one of the things, like, there was because you guys use college and university kind of synonymously, which is
so for you guys, college equals what we call community college,
right?
And university usually just refers to the name of the college. So being like Cornell University, but you don't say I was in university. I went to college at Cornell University.
Listen, it started with them removing U's from words like color and flavor, and now they just call it whatever it is. It's ridiculous.
Thanksgiving's in November. Okay.
So
I'll take you both on myself.
So the whole thing is, though, that, like, and in talking with people, was like, if you want to learn about something, go to university. That's a place of higher education, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas if you want to learn how to do a job, go to college, because college will teach you how to do a job. And that's why I was like, huh. And then hilariously is that like, I had a weird existence, I think, in high school, because teachers were like, this is important for your future. I'm like, my dad knows $1 million company. This doesn't mean anything. I'm like, it has nothing. All I need to do is just get through this, because you are all stupid to me. Like, that's not. And that was,
I think they have to speak to a classroom full of students and like hit everyone at the same time. So not everything is going to hit the same.
Sure.
For a room full of kids. Yeah.
There was a lot of teachers that I would talk to, like the advantage was I was 6 foot in grade 9, right? So people look at me and they're like, that's a man. That's not a child. And I'm like, yeah, I went and bought beer. It's not like,
you were talking about that on Hammered and Cheese, weren't you, yesterday?
Yeah. So it was like, it's a weird thing. So we would have discussions as peers, and the thing is, at the same time, I'm also studying the Bible and talking to people, like having biblical debates and discussions and giving public discourses to 1,000 people. So it's like, yeah, I can teach a class. I'm like, that's not, if you give me a subject, I can teach it. I would just need to learn as the subject. It's not a big deal. Why?
Yeah,
because I can talk in front of people already, right?
There is a non-zero amount of times where I've been given the curriculum like a day before the school starts, be like, fuck the entire semester.
But you can go, okay, I'm going to talk about this. All right, I'll figure it out. That's fine. Why? Because you can talk, right? Like that's one of those skills that you can't, like, it's super important to learn right out of the gate. It's like, yeah, go talk in front of people. And you're like, what do you mean? You're like, yeah, not only talk in front of people, also do a good job. Like it's a weird thing. Victoria says, that's what I did, but now I am thinking of where is this path can lead me. So this is it's wild because I also just got a text today from a friend who's like, is this all that life is? And I'm like, it's Sunday. Why are we having this kind of a deep conversation? This feels like a,
okay, so
yeah,
I think that everyone's gonna have that moment, like in your 30s or later, that's gonna be like, is this all life is? Is it blank, 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 whatever the thing is? Because I was with my dad earlier today, and was sort of asking him like, "Hey, you're my half brother just turned 13 today. Happy birthday, half brother! I'm not going to say your name on stream, but so like your second round of kids are now teenagers. How you feeling?" And he's like, since I've been through this before, I thought I would be more prepared. And then just left.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's eye-opening.
Mm-hmm.
See,
I guess it's like,
yeah, that makes sense.
It's not the same set of kids. It's a different generation of teenagers that he's raising. He's going from like late stage millennial teenagers to early to mid Gen Alpha. No, sorry, early Gen Alpha. Because the oldest Gen Alpha is like 15. So that's
normally when you'd have that dichotomy of generations, you'd also have the filler, so they would transition for you. You'd tell the oldest something that you knew how to talk to, and they would kind of translate for all the subsequent children, right? Like,
but unfortunately, it's such a big gap between my sister, then me, then 16 years, then my sister and brother. So like that's an entire generation of Z that he missed as a parent.
Yeah, which is massive, because that's the difference of someone who's like, oh, I speak ancient Greek, and you're like, oh, I speak modern Greek. You're like, there are some words that are similar, but like the and daytime, that's about it.
You missed all of the Middle Ages and the early modern period and the Enlightenment. And you missed a lot.
It's a very, and that's that thing where, and I feel like that's a new event that we're also trying to navigate, right? Because there's no small gaps that are being able to filled. It's way over here, then way over here, and you're like, okay, how do we talk? And you're like, oh, I'd use that. Like, let's be honest, how many times I've met a new young person and they're like, oh, what's your snap? And I'm like,
don't have
this is my snap. It's very loud and very powerful. I don't know what that means. I've not,
No, Snapchat. I had Snapchat like early in college, and it didn't really do much for me.
That's when it was just for whores.
Kind of. I remember Yik Yak. That was like a perfect time to have Yik Yak. Do you know what that is?
No.
Okay, so Yik Yak was this like location-based anonymous Twitter. So everybody that was posting, it was a picture with no name that was randomly assigned to you. And basically what that turned into when you're in college is party over here. Cheese it, it's the cops. This is happening over here. I'm hooking up. Anybody want to hook? It was amazing. And then what it turned into was like, anonymous cyberbullying. So they made you get a username, which defeats the whole purpose. So we were like, well, fuck that shit. And then but like certain social media like glom on to a certain generation. What the heck?
Like, what the heck is Yik Yak? Yeah,
it lasted a year and a half. Like it closed down when I was a senior in college, but it was the perfect time for it to come out.
I mean, yeah. So he can get his slut on. No, it's okay. Dang, 16 years. My sister and I are 10 years apart, and we would rarely talk, Bond, because we didn't have anything in common. Yeah, see, like that's the funny thing is, like, now, like, so my oldest brother is 12 years older than me, but then I have a brother who's 10 years and a sister who's 8 years, and then a brother who's only 2 years, and then 5 years. So like we had people who could translate in the middle, kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know?
No, this feels more like cousinship almost. Where
Yeah.
And I do try and like bond with my siblings to limited results. I think
Sure.
because they don't fucking text back when I text them. Like, what do you want from me at a certain point? You have been
Yeah.
kidnapped.
Hold
Gross.
on. Yeah. Yik yak sounds like a great way to
Yeah.
get kidnapped.
Yes, it does.
You've been kid
Yeah.
yacked. I mean,
No,
yeah.
no, Yik Yak on paper is a fucking disaster, but for where I was in my life at the time, it was amazing. It
Yeah.
burned bright and disappeared into the night.
I mean, yeah, I was gonna ask you, I'm like, is that still a thing where you could post anonymously?
No. Like they
Sounds
got sued
great.
into the sun. Like,
Yeah,
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 it
yeah.
was stupid, but fun.
Maybe that's the
Um,
idea. We should make a new Yik Yak and keep everybody anonymous. Be like,
no.
look,
Yik Yak is the Jolt Cola of social media platforms, right? Where like everyone's like, this is fucking amazing, but also it's really, really bad for you.
so
And
bad.
then got sued out of existence. So
I knew a guy in high school who I actually just found out. I taught his sister follows me and sometimes participates in some shows or watches in the comments. And she was telling me her brother, who we used to hang out with in high school, he would drink like 2 Joke Colas in a day.
Oh my god.
And apparently he's not okay anymore. And I'm like, I mean, that seems
Or like
accurate.
Panera Bread's lemonade that they had for a time there.
Bro,
Yeah.
okay, did you ever try Panera Bread before it became a corporate dog shit?
No, never did. Because
Fresh
there is a
bread.
corporate dog shit one like right near us, so that's why.
Yeah, and they're completely dog shit.
Yeah.
Guys.
Isn't that Reddit? That could be anonymous Reddit, but it had a username.
Yeah.
So like after they made you get a username for Yik Yak, it kind of defeated the purpose because what would happen is you could only see what was around you. Like it didn't show Yik Yaks from a neighboring college campus. If you took your phone and started walking, different things would show up based on your location.
Really?
And then like again, which makes it perfect for college campuses and literally nowhere else.
I mean,
Yik Yak, it's a disaster. That should have been the boilerplate thing. But yeah, so when you have siblings like that and it's hard to form that connection, what I'm trying to do is because I'm a teacher and my younger sister is the same age as the kids I'm teaching. Last year I had freshmen, this year I had sophomores. She's a sophomore this year. I'm trying to just come at it from that angle, and it's not perfect. Like today when I was there, I was like, "What's she doing?" She goes, "Chemistry homework." And I'm like, the last time she and I talked, she was trying to decide what to pick for a history project. And I was like, I'm a history nerd. I can help. I don't know shit about chemistry. So I kind of steered it back to how'd the history project go? She's like, well, it got me from an A- to an A. And I was like,
nice.
Did you have fun with it? And she's like, yeah, I picked the Black Death. I'm like, awesome, cool. Like, I know that was like one of the finalists for her, but it really made me sad that that's all she cared about. Even though as a student, of course, that's what you would care about. It's school, it.
Well, see, this is the thing is I think, and that's one of the real problems. And I think this is what Gen Z sees through where they're like, if I don't like, and this is the weird part is this is how I handled high school where I'm like, if I'm not interested, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm literally going to do, I was a C and D student. As soon as I hit college, I got straight A's. And my parents like, how did you do this? I'm like, I'm not dumb.
Yeah, totally.
And like stuff I want to know. Yeah. So I'm investigating.
I take the time to like try and justify what it's for.
Sure.
Like, why are we reading The Great Gatsby, a 100-year-old book? Well, it's it's a great American novel, blah, blah, blah. I'm not interested in that. What I'm interested in is reading it, like looking at it from a modern lens, and you look at things like queer coding and like critiques of capitalism. And these are Gen Z kids, so they love their critiques of capitalism. And that got them interested.
Yeah.
Instead of just being like, this is a great American novel, we're gonna read now. Like, come on. That's
the thing is like during my high school years, that's how they was posted. Well, you just have to. I'm like, I'm not a child. Give me a reason. They're like, well, it's just like, the curriculum. You're going, then I don't care. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. Like I couldn't be just fucking bothered with, oh, well, you have to read this. I don't have to do like, that's the weird thing too, is being Like I've always been a bigger guy. So people are like, you have to. I'm like, I don't have to do anything. Thank you very much. And it's like I've had people older than me, younger than me, bigger than me, smaller than me. Well, you have to. I'm like, you want to try? And every time they're like, what does that mean? And I'm like, this is exactly what it means. I didn't stutter. This and that was like a weird thing that most people were just like, I don't get it. I don't know what to do from here. I'm like, well, you've given me no reason to want to do this, so why the hell should I bother, right? And that's a complex thing that I think, because if you don't, and also this, I think this mandates people dealing with Gen Z have to communicate better in the way you said. You're like, oh, hey, this is why we're doing this, is because of this, all these things, and we're going to learn how it works. And you're going, oh, so that's actually, oh, I wanted to tell you this too, was somebody was asking an educator how they deal with AI. And he said, okay, so what I do is I give them options on subjects to ask AI and how to figure out why AI is wrong. And that way, it's like you have to ask AI and then proceed to figure, because you're like, a lot of times AI just talks out its ass, which I'm like, that sounds horrible. But I've never used AI because I'm like, it scares me. I don't want to help Skynet people. That being said, I respect our robot overlords and think they'll do a great job in the future. No questions asked.
You're a bubble. Yeah. That is one way that like I've seen my peers doing to deal with AI. A lot of us this year, because the district is like, here's how to integrate AI into the classroom, and a lot of us are like, that's stupid. So what we're doing instead is a lot of our assignments are being done on pen and paper again.
Yeah.
And though I am annoyed that I have to sort the paper and like I'm worried I'll lose stuff, so far it's been okay as long as I've like paced my unit correctly. But a lot of the kids see it as like a form of nostalgia, which is interesting. Where they're like, I used to have pen and paper when I was a kid, when everything was shiny and nice, and now I get to do that again. Like at one point, my printer didn't work, and I had to do it digitally, and they're like, "Oh man, fuck."
That is, and
yeah,
right. I don't know. See, it's
yeah.
There's the idea that your paper can't be hacked, right? And that's like, I literally right behind me, but over here is an entire stack of encyclopedias. So I have great books. I have Encyclopedia Britannica, and I also have like an old Greek dictionary, like in Greek.
Ooh,
My dad, I had that when I was a kid. I had to sell it before coming to Canada, so he found it in Greece and bought another one. And I'm like, why would you buy this? And he's like, it's the greatest thing. And I'm like, no, that's not. How dare you, sir? But yeah, it was a thing. So there are things.
Sorry, Atlas, do your students still write tests with pens and pencils? So I'm an English teacher, and I am the shittiest test taker known to man. Therefore, I don't tend to give tests and quizzes unless they piss me off. If it's very clear you haven't read the material, then I'll give you a pop quiz. But mostly my final assessments are papers. Yeah. And sometimes it'll be an in-class essay, in which case, yes, pen and paper. Other times it will be, I assign you the paper like in college. Like I do this a lot with the seniors. They want to be treated like adults, I'll treat you like adults, right? Here is the paper. Here is the deadline. I know what you guys sound like because I made you write a thing up top about where your name came from, and I know how, like what sort of vocabulary you know. Like there was this one kid the other week who we're doing a Brave New World, and quash descent was in there, which I know what that means. But I was like, hey, what's quash descent mean? And he's like, it means going down. And I'm like, what makes you say that? He goes, descent, like that. I'm like, that's a different way to spell it. Don't use AI next time. And then he just sort of like slunk away.
That's fair. Hold on. So did you answer this? Do kids bring laptops to classes now?
Yeah. So Chromebooks are a big part of the curriculum, and you don't have to use them in class, but the thing I use it for the most is like A, the grade book, and B, here's where the assignments are. I project it up on the board. You can look at it up there, and then like maybe it's a link to something. or whatever. But yeah, it's very much commonplace now.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Have you been to Duluth? No, I haven't.
Nope.
Victoria,
my 13-year-old
has a laptop from school, but are still forced to write tests. I mean, I think that's the
Good.
smartest thing because, listen, that's the great equalizer. Is okay. Hey, like the whole idea of a test is you're on your own.
Skills. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go
for it.
I saw like I think it was an Atlantic article or something where they're like, heads up, colleges, they're bringing back blue books. I'm like, okay, and cool. Like,
so what's a sorry, I missed that. What's
okay, sorry. Blue book. You've done Scantron tests, right? In college?
Yes.
Okay, so that's a thing you get from the student store. They give you the test you write. A blue book is something that you also get from the student store, but it's literally a big blank blue notebook that you write in for like in class essays or things like that.
Okay.
So it's just the like having to write it on, a physical piece of paper. Even as I was in college and people would take notes on their laptop all the time, we still use blue books for those kinds of like essay questions and stuff. Agreed. And no calculators till high school.
Yeah.
I'm an English teacher, not a math teacher.
Yeah. I think they should use pen and paper. Kids are losing.
Agreed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Totally. Yeah. Like typing really, like, yes, it's good to like, okay, home row Mavis Beacon. But also, like, it's a big part of learning knowledge of having to physically write the letters for what you're doing instead of lizard, 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 tap, 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 right?
I love that you lizard. Yeah, that's accurate.
See, it's a big part of like transferring knowledge to brain. That's why taking notes is useful.
Yeah.
Because having to write the letters helps it put that connection to your brain.
That's the thing is there are 3 different forms of learning: is speaking, seeing, and writing. And you're like, if you write something,
doing right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but that's the thing is you're like, that's why class is essentially all 3 of them. It sounds insane. Agreed. No calculators. So, okay. But also too, I remember you're not going to have a calculator in your pocket. You got to learn math. Yes, but also eat shit. Okay. On both of those.
I was in at my old school. I was in the math teacher's room one time because I like needed to get something from him, and one of the kids was like, "Why do we need to learn this? We just have calculators in our pockets." And he had the best response, which is, they try and fleece you on those 20% tip things. Those aren't correct, And he goes, "What?" I'm like, he goes and teaches them how to calculate a tip, like 10 and 20%, and then he goes, "Next time you go to a restaurant, look at what 20% is and see if that's right, and come back." I was like, brilliant. That was awesome.
That is actually brilliant.
Yeah. So shout out Mr. Ureta.
I saw an Instagram reel where this guy asked his coworkers to write the word baseball in cursive, and only one of them could do.
I don't really care about like cursive.
Okay. Also, cursive bees. But cursive bees can go fuck themselves. Let's be honest. They're absolutely ridiculous, and that's just bad.
Yeah, bad. I think it's important for like learning the signature. Like everyone needs a signature, but after that, it's like whatever. If you can do it quickly, you can do it quickly. Good on you.
Well, and this is my thing is that there was a period in time, and a lot of people, think it's always crazy where you're like, yeah, there are people who can't read. That's still a real thing. That there are people who can't read. And remember too, is like, it's not like I remember a guy in school who sounded like he was in grade 6 and we were in high school. No, actually, you know what? It was
like when he talked, or
no, when he read something. He'd be like, the cat and the hat, and you're like, hey, what the fuck are you doing over there? Like so we were in grade 7, I think, and he was reading something out. I just stopped looking. I'm like, hey, are you okay? Like, what's going on? He's like, what? I'm like, you read like you're dumb, but you're not dumb. What's happening right now? Well, it's just how I read. I'm like, you need to get better because this sounds horrible. Like,
yeah.
He was just like, what? And the funny thing is, like, he would emphasize his.
Yeah, maybe
he might have been. No, he wasn't dyslexic. He was just stupid.
Mean.
That was it.
It seems like when I've asked kids to read things out loud, it's not the reading part, it's the comprehension
Sure.
part.
Yeah.
Which like that one I'll kind of put on the pandemic, but also No Child Left Behind and Teaching to the Test and blah blah blah. I've been over this before. But yeah, what's interesting is that like talking to the old head teachers, I'm like, so are we screwed? And they're like, no, but you gotta like the pandemic messed everybody up, and we're gonna see at least the immediate results of that for the next 10 to 12 years, right? The kids who were in the school system leave by 2032. So at the same time, we had like this large drop in scores for the kids who were in middle school during the pandemic. And I was teaching those kids my first 2 years, and now we're starting to get out of that. And a lot of these kids were in like mid to late elementary school when the pandemic happened, where they could still kind of like cognitively bounce back after that. So I guess we'll see. ... Also, some kids get stage fright when they have to read aloud. Yeah.
Hey, fucking grow up, you little shit. How about that?
Nah, I'll give her a point on that one. I think that like Raider Theater is fun, especially for like Shakespeare and stuff like that. But it's really annoying where they're like, okay, we're gonna popcorn around the room, and there's the kid who goes like, but soft, what light through yonder window breaks? It is the east. And then like the other person is like, Romeo. Like there's levels to it, and some people do learn by just like kind of treating it like an audiobook, which is why I'm not too hard on that.
I have never in my entire life of public speaking, my entire life, so 45 years, have I ever met somebody who put in the work and still sucked. It's that simple. And this is why it's like, well, some people get afraid. Get over your fear.
Dino,
that's how that works.
We're exceptions to this. Like more people fear public speaking than death. Seriously. And
that's retarded because you can't.
As comedians,
you can't not die. Okay. You can publicly speak.
As comedians, it's not like we're special. It's just like we have put ourselves through that so many times that it's become nothing to us. The concept of public speaking.
I've learned how to be more empathetic. I've learned how to be more empathetic.
Look, this is just the thing I'm not to put in the work. Like I understand, yes, it's important to like, that's what drama class is for. And that sort of thing. Like the main thing I'm trying to teach them for English is like reading and reading comprehension. And you can do that a bunch of different ways, but that's what I'm trying to teach them. So it can be things like how to read a legal contract, how to read an email and get like the subtext behind it, blah, 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 blah. That's what I'm for. Because you need English for everything else. How do you understand a math problem, a chemistry problem, emails at work, stuff like that?
Empathic, sure, whatever. Hey, all I'm saying is this. If you don't learn how to read, you're going to sound stupid. And not because you are stupid, but because you didn't put in the work. Like anything in your entire life, whatever it is. I have people who are like, oh, I'm afraid. Of what? They're like, well, talking in front of people. Why? Do you know they're just people, right? But they'll judge me. I'm like, I'm judging you right now, and you're clearly stupid. What's your point? I mean, that's one person.
That's what I always told myself was that everybody I'm doing stand-up for is sacks of bones and water, and everybody's pooped their pants at some point, so it's fine. But not everybody has come to that realization yet, or having that realization maybe doesn't help everybody. But it's still like a thing you learn you learn to speak to different generations. And as I get older and this gets gray, like this will turn gray by 40. I'm calling it now.
Sure.
Like if it happened to my dad, it's probably happening to me.
Out of red in your hair. You're going to skip gray. I guess gray. Okay. This is gray. And you're going to go white. That's how that works.
You think so? Because I found my first gray hair 2 years ago and I haven't seen one since.
Yeah. And all of a sudden you're going to wake up one day and go, I'm become Father Time, and you just kind of what here?
Yeah. I guess we'll see. Anywho, like as I get older, and teaching generations who I have less and less in common with,
yes,
it's important to like you don't have to do the like how do you do fellow kids thing, but I just try and be at least a little bit cognizant. Like I'm not sitting in the middle and like looking at Italian Brainrot memes all day, but I know that it exists and where it came from and why people say 6'7", so I can at least be like, okay, that's not my thing, or like why people love fucking Labubu so much. Cool, enjoy it. I don't care. But at least doing that instead of being like, you goddamn kids with your Labubus. We had the same dumb shit when I was growing up, and it's gonna be that way forever. Sorry.
I'm just looking up what does it mean when people say 6'7".
Okay, and it came from a song, like a rap song originally, and then it sort of took on its own life as a meme, as like a funny number because it's 6'7", like it's funny. But unlike 69, which is like a sex joke, this is just for its own sake.
It's just a nonsensical meme.
Pretty much, yeah. So, but I
take it all back. You kids are stupider than I ever was. Fuck you.
I think what annoys me is because the two numbers are next to each other. So anytime you have to count, it will inevitably come up. All right, I need everybody to read chapters 5 through 7 tonight. They're like, Mister, what chapters? I'm like, chapters 5 through 7. And they're like, what's in the middle of chapters 5 and 7? I'm like, I'm not saying it. And they're like, which chapters? Like they get it out of you, that sort of thing. So
also the fact that like, okay, this is yeah.
There's a David Sedaris short story that I like. David Sedaris is one of my favorite writers, and he talks about taking this one class in college that he hates and he falls asleep during, but the way his professor pronounces certain words keeps him at attention so much because of like he overpronounces stuff. Yep. He'll like ask questions to try and steer the professor to say certain words, where he's like, which country do you think grows the best coffee? And he goes, Costa Rica. He's like, second best then. He's like, well, there's El Salvador, certainly, but for me, it would be Nicaragua. Like he overdoes Nicaragua. So it's like that, which is funny to me.
There's a bit by Greg Davies where he talks, because he used to be a drama teacher. And they're like, were you a good teacher? He's like, no. It's a drama teacher. It's not even a teaching. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
And sure enough, he goes on to say how like one of the other teachers was a German guy, and he kept on trying to get him to say vegetables because he would say it weird. And I'm like, like vegetables, and you're just like, what?
Yeah.
This is why, like, when I hear people say things wrong with the idea, you're like, oh, it'll keep you interested. I'm like, no, it makes me want to stab you in the face immediately. And Victoria will use words, she'll say it wrong, and I'll just look at her and be like, what did you just say? And she'll repeat the word, and I'm like, no, it's not like that. And she's like, yeah, it is. I'm like, no, it's not.
He's like this for everything. People listening.
Just so you guys know, I'm a bad person. It's fine. Like, of all, like I have to do this. Otherwise, my only other job would be serial killing. That's it. Those are my alternatives.
I gotta give props to Katie, my lovely wife, Katie, whom I love very much. Because she is teaching kindergartners, so she's getting this like it's a larger delta, and then also a lot of these kids like you pick them up from like they pick up their like cultural references from parents more, and not so much their friends. Their friends are just kind of whoever's around them. You don't get the like kid coming in elementary school and then that's how you find out about something. It's your parents have this on for you at home. And she said like it's very interesting to see the little like quirks the kids have. Like there's this one kid where you asked him a question, literally every time he goes like with the hand on the chin. And like anytime she and I have like trouble like trying to think of something when asked a question, we do the like
it's funny. Okay, I like this. Victoria, for me, they are disappointed penguins when public speaking. That's fantastic. Apparently, Labubus are going down in value, as they should. Tamagotchis for life.
See, there you go. There's another example of like a thing that The Sims or Pokemon or fucking Yu-Gi-Oh. Like it happens with everybody, and that's fine. Dino is
critically.
Oh, critically.
Like Socrates, but critically. I'm like, yeah, funny. I am 100% critically. There's no question about that.
One of my classes is one of those like a professor comes in from the local college and teaches, and you just have to take roll and make sure the room doesn't get set on fire. And he's teaching philosophy. So right now we're doing Plato's Apology, and yeah, it's just funny. Like I showed him before the professor came in, I showed them this the painting, the Death of Socrates, where he's like, right, and I'm like, what's the vibe you get from this? And like eventually it got to the point where they're like, wow, everyone's freaking out, and he's sort of like, hey, like he's fine. He's having a conversation with someone. I'm like, think about that as the person before like he shows you the text, and then for the visual learners in the room, you can imagine what Socrates looks like then.
Well, the best part about that painting is like I feel like some people are like, God, shut up, and other people are like,
totally,
what happened next? And he's like, and I told him go fuck himself.
Yeah,
that's not the right finger.
Exactly what it is. Because half of the court is just like, oh, thank God he's gonna die, and the other half are 100%. Like, no, you can't. We liked you, that sort of thing.
Like it's a weird thing how knowledge works, right? And especially like, I'll be honest with you, something like 6-7 is 100% where you're like, oh, that's because dumb people are in charge of memes. That's it. Because it's a nonsensical. It's the same thing. I remember growing up, people would come up with weird nicknames. Some people started calling each other Star, and I'm like, all right, Moonbeam. And they're like, what? And I'm like, you called me Star. I'm calling you Moonbeam because it's both stupid.
Or for the Gen Xers in the room, what's that?
Oh yeah, that lasted way too long. I'll be honest.
Yeah,
with you. Still funny though.
Like,
still funny.
All that in a bag of chips, which comes from a rap song. Like, yeah, it's. I'm gonna start biting my thumb like in Romeo and Juliet. Exactly.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. As the
there's a few comedians who are like, I don't know why this is a thing. Why can't it be like, ugh? And you're like, do that. It's funny as hell.
Sign language, right? Like that's the
I had to explain to somebody the only word I know in sign language is bullshit, which is bullshit.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Or horse, water, right? Cat, dog, you kind of like pat your thigh. This is a fun abortion.
Yeah. Which I was like, that's fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, because some words are important, people. Some words are important. Yeah.
And apparently, it like you're supposed to kind of spell out your name. Wait. When you like first, are speaking ASL, and then apparently you can have a shorthand, but it has to be given to you by the deaf community. So this was given to me by my brother-in-law, like A around the world, right? For Atlas. I thought that was cool.
Now you're part of a gang of deaf people?
No. You kidding me? We get jumped instantly.
Well, everyone can sneak up on you. Come on.
Exactly. There's a YouTube channel I like called ASL Theater. They'll play the Broadway soundtrack for a show and then choreograph like sign language to it. It's very cool.
Somebody one of our viewers just sent me a essentially sign language instruction book, and one of them is "You're gay."
What's "you're gay" in sign language?
This and this. Sorry, hold on.
Wait, one more time.
This.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Funny. Yeah.
But also, like, so it's
Oh, reminds me of if your hand is bigger than your face, you have cancer. Forever. Yeah.
Well, the weird thing is that so what you're trying to say, the instructions he gave me was, I want to suck your gay cock. Okay. Now, which when translated literally is your gay boner, I blowjob want. Like, interesting. I mean,
apparently it works like Yoda. Like,
yes,
if you speak like Yoda, literally, that's kind of how you do your signs in.
Well, it also it's how Russians speak English.
Oh.
It's the whole get in instead of get in the car. Where am I going to get in? Obviously, it's the car. Why are you so dumb? It's very
in
funny.
Car, get in.
Yeah,
Yes.
in car.
Yeah,
Go.
Comrade Zombie, you get in car. I don't know why I made it a zombie, but
I mean, there's reasons. It's fine. Yeah, no, it's one of those weird things. I think a lot of people don't realize that how important communication is, and as it gets weirder, yeah, you got to stay with it. Otherwise, it just
yeah, like I guess for other teachers listening, you don't have to be like neck deep in all of the little intricacies. Just vaguely keep your ear to the wind, like just a little bit. They'll appreciate that.
True.
Yeah,
and also the more you use new slang, the faster they will abandon it. Which is
I got Riz to disappear like that. Hey, Riz is the word of the year in the dictionary. The word of the day is Riz, and it's gone. Cool.
Yeah. That means he'll be like, yeah, I got Riz. That's how I got my wife. And they're like, gross.
Yeah.
Like,
I know I totally turned them off where I was like, did you guys know that Riz is the only word besides refrigerator that comes from the middle of the word instead of the beginning or end? Charisma refrigerator. And the rest are from the beginning or end. They're like, okay, we're never doing that again. I'm like, very demure, very mindful. Okay.
I feel like that is the best part about teaching English is you can really fuck over whatever they say, and you're like, the derivative of that is from this, and they're like,
yeah,
I don't want to be smart about it. I want to be cool, and you're like, no, that's not going to happen in English class. Everyone's a loser. It's great.
One of my students drew like a caricature of me where I was like it looked like a melting teddy bear. I looked like fucking Paddington after a bender. And it's like Mr. Novack, and I was just ripping on myself where I was like doing like I look like this if this, I look like this, I look like that. And the kids are like, do you want us to take it down? I'm like, yeah, fine. It's probably not a good look if admin comes in and they just went and did it. I think what they expected me to do was fly off the handle, but it was really funny. So
it should be. Come on.
Yeah.
That's only fair.
Totally.
I'm going to start biting. Yeah. No, that's, I mean, there are reasons for it and everyone should know. Well, this has been fantastic there, sir.
Oh, totally. Yes. If you want to support the show, leave a like, subscribe, follow us at Generation Dan wherever fine social medias are found. Or you can follow me at Atlas Novack right down here in all of the places except Twitter because I nuked that shit for Morbits. Oh, and at Nexus at Night on every Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific on YouTube. That's about a trading card game called Vanguard. If that's not your thing, that's cool. Go ahead.
All right. So I don't know what's gonna happen this week, to be honest, but we'll see. If anything, I will build a bunch of Lego at nighttime, and you guys can watch it and talk with me. I will be having What the Fuck Wednesdays on Upside Down Studios as a guest, and that should be entertaining as hell, as it always is. But aside from that, yeah, I'm posting about my daily excitement, food, shenanigans, and thoughts and opinions. My cat. Me and my cat are he's starting to come over for pets when I'm stretching, and I'm like, hey, fuck off. And he's like, no, this is my pet time. You need to pet me. And I'm like, I'm not your petter. And he's like, I don't care who you are. Just pet me. It's very frustrating. But once again, the battle continues, everyone. So have a wonderful rest of your Sunday, and we will be back very soon.